the first thing they said is, if you're like us, you know that one is too many and 1,000's never enough. And I was like, yeah, I'm like you guys.
Well, welcome to Breaking Down Addiction. This is a new podcast brought to you by National Addiction Specialists. I will be your host today, Johnny Phillip. And I am so excited for today because this is the very first episode that we're doing. And I brought in my very dear friend, colleague, mentor in recovery, and also you're the one that got me into business development 3 years ago, Mitzi Dawn.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here today. And how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I love this whole office. This is really...
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's fancy. We've come up a little bit in the world.
We have. Yeah. We really have. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a bunch of ducks everywhere too.
I know.
So
and walking trails and windows.
It's like Nat Geo over here. It's also funny too that this is the fourth day in a row that I've seen you this week.
Weird. I know. I enjoyed seeing you at kickball yesterday. I saw you. You were kind of serious. You were like stretching out and everything. Like I was like, this is getting ready to not be good. If like I'm going to take a ball to the face, but you were you were gentle. You were good, but you were prepared. You were stretching and getting ready. So
when I was working in Alumni and Recovery Unplugged, I helped run their softball team and their indoor soccer team.
Okay.
And I remember I played softball one day and I didn't stretch. And in my older age, I'm not as active as I used to be. And I actually pulled a groin muscle and I couldn't walk for a week. Mm-hmm. And then also somebody on my team yesterday didn't stretch out.
Brandon.
Pulled his groin.
Shout out to Hacksaw. Yeah.
He said that he had to walk through the airport today.
That's not good. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, I hope you're okay out there.
Brandon.
But so our new podcast, we're going to be talking about stories of experience, strength, and hope. Bringing people on just to share their story. And I think your story is incredible. And you've had a lot of ebbs and flows and ups and downs like we all do. Yeah. But I want to lead off all of these podcast episodes with the same question. And it is, if you can go back and talk to yourself in active addiction, what would you say?
An active addiction.
Yeah, if you can go back and talk to Mitzi in her using days.
I don't know why that's such a hard question. I think I'm being too cerebral. I'm thinking about whether or not I would have heard what I had to say, but I know. Because I don't. You know,
that's
when
true, though.
Yeah, when we first start using, it's like there's not. Like I grew up in the rooms. Like my first AA meeting, I literally rode my mom on the handlebars of my bike to take her to an AA meeting.
How old are you?
9, and she lost her license, and she didn't know where the church was. So like I put her on the handlebars of my bike and rode her because I knew where the church was, and so I know. And so there was nothing about like that where I just never imagined that that's where I was going to grow up and go, or that was going to happen. You know, you would think like I had all of this evidence that it doesn't work.
It happened to my mom.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch myself, and this isn't going to happen to me. This isn't going to be me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like literally, yeah. I mean, watched it all over my just everybody. And that did help me, you know, because I didn't take my first drug till I was 26. And then I came into recovery when I was 32. So it was fast and hard.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it was 26 or 27. And I was like, well, I guess the gene skipped me because I'm fine.
It didn't get to me into my teens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll go ahead and do this drug. And, but, so I think that what I would say is, that this isn't fixing anything. Like when I first started, it was really just, this, I feel like it was, in my head, I know what it is. In my head, I thought I had children young. I was married young. There was like this whole thing where I never experienced going to college and drinking and having fun. And then I moved to Nashville and immediately get a publishing deal. And I'm hanging around with people that I used to see on TV, right? And they're drinking and they're, participating in all of these things and they're having fun. And so when I started using, it was really fun. It honestly was. Like there was
for a lot
so
of us,
many, so many just really amazing fun memories. And then when it stopped being fun is the conversation. Like I just would like to talk to her about like the isolation and I would definitely let her know that the obvious thing would be like, hey, guess what? You do have the gene and you're about to rip this whole fucking family apart, right?
Right.
That would be the obvious thing. And so I guess I'm being too cerebral. I think that that's what I would say is, hey, I know you think that this all skipped you and you're like little Miss Blessed made it out of the, I'm
allergy free.
Yeah, made it out of the situation of your entire family having this allergy, and now you're little Miss. I'm in Nashville and I'm a songwriter. Look, it didn't happen. Like that's not true, and also probably go get some therapy, because all of the isms that you had before of like needing more, and my first drug was the word yes, like all of the things of wanting to like be accepted and somebody love me.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody please.
Yes.
Like all of those things that happened before I was 27 when I took the drug, I think that would be it. Hey baby, you didn't make it out of there unscathed. Let's get to work because it's fixing to get bad.
So this is a sub question. So you start using around 26, 27. Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Yeah.
How long until the darkness started creeping in, you think?
A year.
That's fast.
It's
really fast.
I think the music business facilitated a swift bottom because they don't, it's not like coming to work here where they're like, holy crap. Like you don't look great, or your nose is stuffy for the 19th time in a row. It's never, they're like, oh, Mitzi Dawn, you got a rock and roll head cold, There wasn't a lot of, I was a songwriter. I had to turn in 12 songs a year. So if I was missing for a month or two, like if I was turning in songs, nobody said anything. So
you were getting your work done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting my work done. No, there wasn't a lot of accountability. The check just arrived magically in the mailbox, and
is that
my drug dealer took credits. Like he knew it was monthly. My drug dealer knew that I got paid. So if I ran out of money, he'd spot me. I never had to do anything shady. Which was amazing.
Wow.
And he would just come and collect the money on the first. So it facilitated I didn't have to bob and weave through the, navigate being a responsible person. It was just like, this is what I'm doing now. A lot of drugs.
Well, I hope to hear more about that.
Yeah.
And we all hope to hear more about that. But because you have so many things going on now. You are still a songwriter, mm-hmm. singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
But you were at Smiles for Recovery at the golf charity on Monday. Mm-hmm. You work for Alia Health Group. It seems like you're on the board for Hustle Recovery. Mm-hmm. Who are you, and tell us a little bit more about all that stuff. And I know that's a lot.
So when I got clean in 2008, I had the only job I'd ever had was a songwriter. And it was a big job, right? It was but my sponsor, Holly, who passed away, I had called out of step work uninspired 3 times, which, when you're a musician or you're a songwriter, you just call and say, I'm not feeling it today. And nobody wants to sit in the room with you if you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, we'll reschedule. And the second time I did it, the call, hey, I'm not feeling it today. She was like, honey, this is not how the world works. And I need you to get a job. And I was like, I have a job,
Yeah.
And she was like, no, a real job. You need a real job. I want you to go down there run down there to Cumberland Heights and get you a little job. And so me is I was a songwriter, and I'm at the time I'm writing for Tim McGraw. I was a songwriter, right? And I was getting to go to the award shows and doing these things, and she made me go to Cumberland Heights and become a clinical associate.
And you're like, I'm writing for Tim McGraw.
Right. I'm a big shit. And what are you? Yeah. So, but here's the cool thing is that I believed Holly. No matter what she said, there's a million things that we can get into later. But Holly was sent from heaven. She's the only person that probably could have reached me, and she's the person that did. And when she told me to do something, like, I did it. So I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was stupid. But so I got it. The long story short is I got a job at Cumberland Heights. And something happened where my mental health, just all of these things changed because now I have to wake up in the morning and I have to get dressed and I have to go somewhere.
While you're starting to work in recovery, this is happening.
Yeah. Because
you're supposed to show up for people and be there regardless, period.
Right.
That are going through a tough time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that my poor bosses, because I'd never had a job like that. Like I remember Bobby Joe and Melissa at Cumberland having to tell me that the time of arrival, like when it's time to punch in, that's not like a speed limit on a curve. It's not a suggestion. Like I need to be there at that time.
You have to show up at 8:30 in the morning. It's not 9:30 or 10:30.
I thought their heads were going to pop off. I said, I'm saving you money. When I get here, there is nothing to do for an hour. And she said, do you know what happens when you get here? And I was like, no. She's like, the people that were here all night long can leave. And I was like, oh. Okay. So
you start to think about other people, right?
Yeah, just the fact that other people, they have a system that works, and maybe if it's like that for a reason. I don't know everything in the world, you know. Mm-hmm. So when I started working, that's where it started. And what I noticed is that I was good at it, right? So I never knew that I could have a regular job, but I went from being clinical associate at Cumberland to being the clinical director at an outpatient treatment center for years. Later. So I just stayed in that business because it was really good for my mental health. It was good for my recovery. It was good for everything while I was writing. It also kept me just really connected to people that were trying to be healthy. And, we're in the music business. It's really easy to, veer off. So
the music business is a whole other conversation.
Whole other thing. Yeah. It's high school with money.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where it started, and then I just kind of transitioned into it full time. And so the role that I'm in now I'm really grateful for it because I'm with a company that has a lot of facilities all over, and they are really client driven, where they're not constantly hounding me saying, we need you to get heads in these beds.
That's probably my least favorite phrase in working in recovery. Yeah. If somebody that I connect with from a facility says that, I'm immediately turned off. Yeah. Like I can't even talk anymore, really.
Yeah, it's off. It's one of the biggest problems, and it's a difficult thing to navigate. But like, what I'm allowed to do is go around and help people get into treatment, and I'm allowed to put them wherever they need to be. And if my facility is the best facility, then that's where I'll send them. But out of 40 referrals a month, I probably put 4 or 5 in my place.
So you're truly putting somebody in the place that they deserve
constantly
and also where they're going to have the most success.
Right. And I'll say
it's very admirable.
Well, it's the right thing. It's the right thing. Yeah. And if you've ever had a family member go to like my first experience with my son was me calling around and finding a person like me on the other end that sold it. Oh yeah, come to Florida. Oh, we have dual diagnosis. It's fine. He's going to swim with dolphin.
Somebody
all this
being
stuff.
salesy.
Yeah. But I didn't know better. When I send my kid out there, he's 15. So I've had experience after experience where like, when you send your family member to the wrong place, like I know what that, like I do not want somebody going somewhere that, first of all, is going to disrupt like the demographic that's there already, because they don't belong there. But then also that's going to hinder their chances of healing. Because we would get a lot of second, third, fourth. Like back in the day, we had a lot of chances. Like we could relapse. We could do it. Today we can't.
Very true. With this fentanyl crisis, one use, that's game over.
Right. So that's where it started. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been like able to get into this position where I can just help navigate people to the best possible care. And then because my job is people, which is amazing. So I just kind of get to go and I get to participate and be on the board for Hustle Recovery, which is an incredible, I get to help Smiles for Recovery, which if you don't know about that, like you should look them up.
Everybody in the general public, Google Hustle Recovery and also Smiles for Recovery, doing amazing things.
Amazing. Yeah. I was blown away. I took a friend to Smiles for Recovery. Did I tell you about that?
No.
So Smiles is a nonprofit, and they literally are it's going to sound minimal, but they're helping people with that have had substance use problems just redo their whole smile. And you know what it looks like when when somebody's done meth for years,
And teeth, gum health is important to you living a long, healthy life. It's connected to your heart,
1,000%.
other organs,
and apparently, like it has your GERD, like how much you chew your food. Like there's things that I didn't even think about. But when you're unfortunately like going to the dentist is really like a kind of a privilege. It really is, like for a lot of, even for me, like it took 10, 12 years before, when I first got clean, I'm like fighting for my kids. I'm going to court. I'm trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to figure out how to build credit. I'm trying to like be a human person on this planet. Mm-hmm. And you go to the dentist and they're like, I remember my very back tooth it broke and they removed it and they said I need an implant. And I was like, it's in the very back. And he said, well, yeah, but how are you going to chew? I'm like, I haven't chewed on that side in 10 years. Like, I'm not getting an implant. How much is the implant? And he said, $1,200. I was like, I'm not getting that. Like, get out of here. Yeah, like it's not happening.
Someone new to recovery having $1,200 extra dollars.
Ever. I didn't have, it took forever to have $1,200 extra dollars. Mm-hmm. So it's really a beautiful story. And you think about it, like even that's in my demographic where like I was doing okay. So you think about people that have lost completely everything and they're just their whole mouth. And when you think about like what's going to happen when they go to apply for a job or the confidence that they have when they go to approach a partner or just different things like that.
Confidence is everything in that situation.
Yeah. So, but my friend, what I was saying is my friend, 15 years in recovery, does everything for everybody. But his whole mouth was, he was literally waiting for an opportunity because it's going to be, 80, 90 grand to take care of this situation.
My gosh.
But he got sick and he needed to get on the liver transplant list. And I don't know if you know, but they won't put you on that list unless all of the infection in your mouth is clear.
Oh my gosh.
So then what do you do, right?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. And God thing, I had met Smiles for Recovery and about like a week or two before, my friend calls and says, I need to get on this list and I can't get on it because I've got to figure out how to get all these teeth. And I was like, I might know somebody that can do that. And I called Justin, and within the month he was in a chair on a Saturday. And I didn't mean like not like at a school where it's like shady and people are like, just be happy you're getting free dinner. Like, I mean like I'll never forget him saying, because if you ever want to know what it feels like to be a millionaire, it makes me cry. Oh. Yeah, he was like, you ever want to know what it feels like to be a millionaire? Like, go get your teeth done. Like the way that he was treated,
so beautiful,
with like dignity, and nobody was like, how could you let this happen?
Yeah.
So they just
with no judgment.
Yeah, took them all out, brand new everything. He looks incredible.
And was he able to get on this?
He's on the list, and his liver's coming up because all the infections cleared. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, and that's just one story of what you're dealing with.
Right.
When I went to the golf charity and Justin spoke, great speech.
Yeah.
And he brought Troy Sandifer from Hustle Recovery up.
He
was patient number 1 for them.
Yeah.
And in one day, Troy sat down and got all of his teeth extracted and basically got a whole new mouth of teeth.
Yeah, like implants, too.
Yeah,
like
implants and bridges. And
they're in there.
That's kind of beyond my scope, but it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. And he looks like a movie. Doesn't he look great? He looks like a movie star.
He really does.
Yeah.
And imagine his health improvements because of that.
And he deserves it because he does so much. Hustle Recovery is incredible. So this is what I get to do. I get to like go and I get to put people in treatment where they need to go, but mostly I have time to just go and find these nonprofits, and I get to work with Reach United and Hustle, like all of these nonprofits that are doing really great things for our community, and so I get to go and do those things. And it's still considered work because I'm doing business development, so it's really cool.
It helps fill your cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
It absolutely did.
Okay.
Thank you.
I forgot what the question was. Okay.
And I know that we got a little snapshot of what your life was like back then.
Yeah.
But like before recovery, what did your life look like around that time?
Like you mean during active or just in general?
In general, but also in active addiction. What did your life look like when you were in active addiction and before you sussed out recovery or even thought about it? It's
really interesting because even in the years that there was so much unmanageability, right? Like there was no drug, there was no alcohol, but there was 1,000% unmanageability.
That is a key word. And I don't want to bring my own story into this, but absolutely that's the word that I would use for my life at that time too.
Yeah, just like we didn't get instructions on how to be a person. And I obviously, so I come from a family, my mom had substance use and there was a lot of trauma, and she had a lot of trauma. And so it's just like generation upon generation of like passing down this trauma, like in our genes, and then also just in the everyday language that was used to communicate when, and so nobody was there to like teach you how to be a person with a feeling. Like I think even regular people that don't have, like, if you think about like somebody falls down and skins their knee, like the first thing that we are like, oh, don't look at it. You're okay. Here. Here's you want a cookie? Do you want it? Like it's immediately like, don't feel that. Don't look at that. Don't think about that.
I just had to do that with my daughter recently.
Yeah. And we never like look and go, oh my God, that sucks. That really hurts, huh?
Yeah.
Freaking, you're bleeding. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened. Like, let me help you. Mm-hmm. And that's like a different example, but there was never like healthy coping mechanisms passed down or so.
I have the same thing. Yeah. I totally can relate to that.
Yeah. So what do we do?
It's not like my parents were terrible. My parents were great and they gave me a great life.
Right.
But my father passed down a lot of these bad behaviors, this trauma, this PTSD onto me and on the family. And it's something that I'm still addressing to this day. It takes a lot of time. It's not something that you can solve in a year.
Mm-mm. No, I mean, it's just there. And then you discover, you're like, oh, yeah, I fixed all this stuff. And you're like, well, what's this? And new stuff to fix. I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that it's definitely a journey. But so before that, it was just, I would say unmanageable. And I would honestly say just really sad. There was a lot of reasons to be, like, one of the things that I was just recently talking about when I was in the music business, like, I wish that I would have stopped for a second and been like, look what you're doing. Like, you dreamt about doing this your whole life. And let's just, like, stop for a second. Like, look what you did. Like, all you wanted to do was be able to get in that building. And now, like, you work in that building and people know who, you know what I mean? Like, there was so many moments that, like, happened that I missed because I was aiming for the next moment already.
And sometimes those moments we aim for and dream for,
all of them,
sometimes it pans out to be something you really don't want.
Or this, you like, you definitely, like, you don't want, or that, like, I just would put a label on, like, okay, if I could just have that boy, right?
You wanted to be a mom.
No, I was, well, no, that's funny. I did want to be a mom.
Boy,
I do have those boys.
That relationship.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I guess I should, I remember seeing, there was a man, I should say, and he walked in and he was just like, I remember thinking like, holy cow, like somebody gets to go home and say like that's their husband, like that's crazy, like he's beautiful, like. And in my head, I was just like, if I had that, I would be happy. And so I went about doing the things that I needed to do in order to be the person that he would want.
Yeah.
And it worked. And I was with him. And it obviously didn't work out. He's not here today.
Yeah.
You know, it was a train wreck because it was me like looking at something and going, look, there's something right there that's really... If I had him, everybody would believe that I was lovable, right? They would all be really, really sad that they were mean to me when they were little, and they're going to
That's a powerful statement right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the honest to God like feeling. It's like I didn't have in my mind, like I didn't have the value, or I had value that nobody could see. But if he saw it, then everybody else would go, well, what's he looking at? We should pay attention to that.
Right.
And so
the whole world's been missing something here until
they have absolutely missed
now.
it. Yes. Yeah. And the damnedest thing happened when we started dating. Not one other person was like, I can't believe I never noticed you were here. Yeah. It didn't work. And so I think that's the thing it looked like, is me trying to find things outside of me to because I will say, like, I believed that I had value, and I just believed that people didn't see it. And I didn't know how to say, I didn't know how to bring attention to myself. But I remember feeling, and I don't know when I was little, like I felt special, right? I was special. I was going to be famous, and everybody was going to, and that could have just been like a coping mechanism where I was like, you know, one day everybody's going to love me, probably but I'm glad that was my thought process, and not everybody hates me and nobody's ever, right? Because it can go in that direction. I know people that happens where they're like, I'm unlovable. But me, I was like, I'm amazing, and everybody is not noticing that. And I would like them to. And so
I'm sorry that you had to go through that and figure that out in life. And there's probably a lot of heartbreak.
Yeah.
A lot of pain over it.
I wondered a lot of times, like, because I've done a lot of things in spite of, and I wonder, like, what my life would have been like with, you know, like if you can, kind of like if you could do all these things, like while you're like covered in a wet blanket, you know, trekking through the, you know, then imagine what it would be like without that, and then also with somebody walking beside you going, hey, you're doing great, kid, like, you know, what are you going to do now? How can I help? We
all need support.
Yeah.
And kind of a cheerleader, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, this is interesting. It's bringing up something for me where you're talking about how you wanted to be in that building or get this relationship with this guy because then other people would notice how special you were.
Right.
I was getting myself into these situations, and it was like kind of, when I was playing drums and I was an active touring musician, I always wanted to play with one of my heroes. And I got a gig playing with Tommy Stinson from The Replacements for a couple of years. And at that time I was drinking super heavy. And I was always like, if I land something like this, I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to get other work because of this. I'm going to get much more notoriety. I'm going to get more money and figure out my life. But then I couldn't keep it together because of the drinking. It didn't matter what I got at that point. I couldn't keep it together because I had this shackle that I couldn't break, and it was weighing me down. It was either causing me to play shitty at a gig, show up late, miss a flight. But those are all things I thought I would never do.
Right.
You know?
And then this is the utter sabotage of it all. Like, it's so crazy because anybody that doesn't have alcoholism or addiction are just listening going like, why didn't you just stop drinking for a minute? And it's like,
you got where you want to be.
Right.
Just put the bottle away for
not an option.
A month.
Yeah.
Figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally not an option. We're getting deep into things now.
Yeah.
And but let's talk about what you would expect. So when you were getting sober, what did you expect recovery to be? But then what is it actually like?
So when I was coming into recovery, I remember I was at a I didn't it had not occurred to me that I had a problem.
You're totally naive to it.
And I'm being honest, like it did not occur to me that I was an addict, right? It just didn't. That the problem was everybody's an asshole, and I have really bad luck, and you know, and I'm like, you know, and my life was really hard before, and I have all this trauma, you know, like I had a million reasons why I was behaving the way that I was behaving, and not one of them had to do with the fact that I was an addict. And I remember
everybody else was the problem.
They absolutely were, and I remember, and I had that just core, but like that was my like belief. It just never even occurred to me, like Mitzi, maybe you know all this cocaine is not good for you. Like it just didn't. So I was sitting at like this Jewish deli with my producer, and he was sitting across from me, and I'm talking about, you know, everybody, you know, nobody does what I need him to do, and everybody's a jerk, and that I have bad luck, and can't believe it. And he said, I don't know what's wrong with me, and he, I'll never forget it. He looked across the table. He just looked at me, put his hand on my hand, and he goes, "Baby, you're a drug addict."
Did the light go off at that moment?
It did. I was just like, what? I mean,
what did you just say to me?
It just, that was the first time. Like I heard, like, and in my head, it's like I think of a drug addict. I'm like thinking of the guy under the bridge, or people, you know, they're smoking crack, or they're doing, you know, intervening, like all of these
or
things.
they're overdosing.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm, you know, this, you know, 28, 29-year-old, you know, little blonde trotting around music room. Like, me? Also, I didn't use the way that people, like I didn't use every day. Because, you know, I would stay up all night for 2 days in a row and then sleep. But like in my head, right? In my head, I'm like, but I don't even use every day. But it's like, kind of. So it just hadn't occurred to, so I say that, and I go to he brings me to 202.
Oh, okay.
To an AA meeting. And I pick up a chip, and then I don't do anything for 30 days. And then I pick up a 30-day chip, and I immediately go out and celebrate with like a shot of Jack and an 8-ball. Like, I did it.
That's the way to get a 30-day chip.
Yeah, he was like, that's not really what, okay.
I can get another 30-day chip now.
Yeah, so that wasn't, I went to 2 meetings, one to pick up the white and then one to pick up the 30. So, but that stuck in my head, right? Like I didn't get it at that point, but it stuck in my head. And so when it finally got bad enough, and I was like, "Oh, that's what he said." He said that. He did say that this was a problem,
and he was right.
Yeah, he was right. And so I went back, and I went to 202, and this was 16 years ago. And I got kicked out. Of an AA. If you get kicked out, it's okay. I got kicked out because I was you know, it's Alcoholics Anonymous, and they're talking about alcohol, and they would like you to confine your discussions to alcohol. Right. And if you're an addict, then you should just replace it in your head. But I was brand new and freaking out and just batshit, and I was just like, I don't really have a problem with alcohol, but I want to talk to you about cocaine, you know, and just start naming drugs and how I used it and how much and what it felt like. I was like, hey, shut up, you know. And so I was like escorted out, and this lady, she's still clean today. I still see her, Rhonda. She came out to the parking lot, and she was like, hey, let me take you somewhere. I have the perfect meeting for you. And she drove me around the corner to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and dropped me off.
What a thought, huh?
Yeah. So,
I mean, hey, it's no worries. Any of you out there getting help if you go to the wrong meeting, totally okay.
Yeah, I would say, like, there's so many meetings now. Like, whatever your issue is, just like type in what that is and then put anonymous after that.
Exactly.
You're gonna find it. Like, there is a billion places, and you can go wherever you're comfortable. Like,
yeah, and if you're a narcotics user that's recovering, you can go to AA.
Yeah.
Some people like the format of AA more than NA.
Yeah.
For instance.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the step work and, you know, all of that. Yeah. So, I won't say what fellowship I'm affiliated with now, because I probably wasn't supposed to say any of those names, but we'll just use it as that's what was happening then. But yeah, we're not. I'm in a 12-step fellowship now, and I found the one that I love, and I work a program, and I have a sponsor, and my sponsor has a sponsor, and so I still participate in that.
Great.
But what I thought, to answer your question, when I got to this other meeting, when I walked in, I remember two things. The first thing they said is, if you're like us, you know that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. And I was like, yeah, I'm like you guys. And so I
I've always
sat
loved
down.
that saying.
Yeah. And then the other thing that they said that just offended me to the core was they said alcohol is a drug. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. Like what my hope was that I was going to
give
come
up
into
the cocaine.
Yeah, I just needed somebody to help me not do cocaine.
Yeah.
Like if I could just not do cocaine, that would be really great.
Absolutely.
Or you could give me like a pill to help me, follow, like I had all of these things in my head. Like I needed just help to not do that. And so when I found it, I thought that I was going to come into this place and they were going to talk to me about how to not do that drug. And then when I found out that actually, no, you're not going to do any drugs and you're not going to drink. Oh, and also drugs and alcohol aren't your problem. You are. You're the problem. They're the solution. And now you don't have a solution, so we have to help you with that. And that was... kind
of hit you like a ton of bricks, probably, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because but it was like, at that point, then it was just like, oh, it brings the power back, right? So, like, it's not giving up. It's like, I remember Holly saying, surrender doesn't mean you give up. Surrender just means you don't have to fight anymore, baby. You don't have to fight. And I really love...
What a great point.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea because I've been fighting for a really long time.
Well, it's just funny, too. At the beginning of part of this, he said that everybody else was the problem, that you were fine. But now you're realizing, finally, you're the problem.
And isn't that great? Because that's the only freaking thing that I can do anything about.
Totally.
Yeah, I can't do anything about you being my problem.
Yeah.
But I can... If I'm the problem, well, then we got something to work on. So it switched immediately from me being a victim to me being like not where I thought like I was a bad person or I was being a bad mom. It's like, oh, you're sick. You're a sick person. You were a sick mommy and you're a sick friend. And, now we got to work on getting better.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's been 16 years?
Yeah. It'll be 17 years in October.
Oh, my gosh.
It's so crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So good.
Yeah.
In recovery, though, are there other tools that have helped you besides AA, NA sponsorship?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about some of those tools.
I think that coming into the rooms, what it does is it gives me like a foundation, right? And for me, especially if I'm with people with trauma and people with like long-term history of like patterns and abuse and stuff, for me, it just isn't enough to just do, like what that work did was it healed me enough to be able to handle going in and doing other work. I think that there are some of my friends even that they can just do that and they're fine. I just had a lot. There was a lot going on. So
I know therapy's helped me a lot.
Therapy, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I wasn't resistant. I had a therapist when I first got out of treatment. Mm-hmm. He retired. And I kind of thought to myself, and this was in Wisconsin, I'm like, oh, well, I'm good. I don't have to go anymore. He retired. And I don't have to find another person. And then when I moved down to Tennessee, a lot more issues started happening in my life. Yeah. And a therapist has helped exponentially.
It's significant, the difference. And I know that like I don't know now if it's still there, but when I came in, 16, 17 years ago, you would hear things like, well, Trigger's the name of a horse in a Western. Like, we don't talk about Trigger, and they were very, like, anti, things like that. They're just like, you're the problem, you fix it. And I agree with most of that completely until you start thinking about the fact that like my trauma has created actual loops and neuropathway, where it's like it makes me think of like a snowball. If you think about snowball used to like it kind of would roll down the hill and it makes like a little path, and so the next snowball
Also
goes a
gets
little
bigger too.
Yeah, it gets bigger, but and then the next one it can roll down that path faster. And so for a long time I could feel like the spinning, like I could feel the momentum of a thought or something like start to go down the hill, but I had the ability to kind of like knock the snowball to the side and then it would lose momentum and stop, and I could like regain myself. I know that now to be like regulating. I could self-regulate that way.
Self-regulation.
Huge.
That's an insane tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would kind of be able to do that before therapy where I would, but then something significant happens and it's like, it felt like a bobsled with that snowball. I mean, there was nothing I could do to knock that thing off a track.
Yeah.
And that's when I noticed, I was like, I guess I need therapy. It
Was
was
that
like 10 years.
Was that you being reactive, or is it something totally different?
It wasn't reactive at that point. What that was I could not stop the fearful and negative thought pattern from like
The negative thought loop.
Yes, it would be like one thing would happen.
I'm into that.
Yeah, one thing. It's just like, forgot to pay the electric bill, and then it's like, would wind up being, it's because you're a giant piece of crap and because you were abused as a child and you're never going to be okay. Like it would go through this whole pattern of like all the reasons why I can't be like this functional person that does things that are normal. And
it's kind of like when you're trying to fall asleep and you fall in that negative feedback loop, and all of a sudden, like I've been up for 3 hours.
yeah,
You just can't stop spinning.
having like the imaginary fight and the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That the self-regulation has taught you
Self-regulation.
so much. My problem was always reactivity, where it was even in sobriety, I had to figure out how to become less reactive because I got sober and I would almost get more angry. Somebody would post something on Facebook and I'm like, oh, I have to comment on this,
Yeah.
Or like a partner would do something and be like, oh, we're going to fight about this for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I need to be heard right now. I need to be understood. But we all have our things to work on.
Yeah.
And even, 13 years sober, you going on 17, it's always a work in progress.
And I think be playful with it because this is like this beautiful life that we get to like have. And I don't, when I first came, it was very like, this is the only way, and anybody that doesn't do it this way is doing it wrong. And it was very like, I found this thing and I'm going to protect it and nobody else should do it different. And,
right.
And there's not, I really had to like, especially working with people in this industry and then also having family members, for instance, that have struggle. My way is not the only way, right? Like I found this way through these recovery doors. My son, for instance, he grew up coming to NA meeting, and going to different 12-step meetings with me, and he could recite the 12 steps. If you asked him, hey, what's the fourth? He would know. He's heard, he's seen us stand in the circle. He's seen the whole thing. And so when he had a problem, the last thing in the world he wanted to do was go to one of the, it's like, even though he had evidence that it worked.
Right. But he always heard all of this.
He heard it. So he knows that stuff.
He heard it all. He knew it.
He's like, I know this stuff, right? So, so for him, even though that worked for me, I wound up sending him to Treehouse Recovery, which they believe in
that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, they believe in 12 steps, but it's not the part of their curriculum at all. They're very science-based, and they are 1,000% all about healing the mind and body and spirit through physical activity, and then the therapists are like watching them do this rigorous, hard physical thing, and they're noticing like how they're reacting, and oh look, he doesn't ask for help, or this makes him angry, and then bring them back, and that's what they process, right? And they show them images of their, what the brain looks like when you're in fight or flight, where it's lit up. And then they show them images of what happens after you meditate or have gratitude and how it's moved to the frontal. And so I remember him calling me going like, oh, like, did you know that when you meditate for 15 minutes that you can move your thinking from fight or flight into the front? And I'm just like, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, why wouldn't they just say that instead of making, when he's in a 12-step meeting, they're like, you should meditate. And he's like, well, this is just, why? Woo crap. Like he just didn't understand. But when he saw the science of it, he was like, I don't care why. Like, I see that it works. And so now he'll do it. So finding people that like speak our loved ones' languages, or the person we're trying to help, like who can, like, what's going to speak to them, because it's not always what spoke to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's path of recovery looks different. Everybody's. No recovery program is the same, for me at least.
No. It's all different. And so I would say be playful. Like when I'm in there, if I went to the same meeting all the time and that's all I did, I would totally be drunk right now.
Yeah, if you didn't change things up and gain more tools.
Right.
I'm glad you brought up the treehouse recovery thing, because I've seen pictures of you lifting weights and
it's so crazy.
And doing these workouts.
Yeah.
And by the way, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
I know
I feel really good.
It's got to feel good
It does.
to look good. I mean, it helps with confidence and also your health.
It does.
And overall energy too, and mental health.
It's funny you say that, because it's going to sound weird, but the other day I started filming myself at Treehouse, and I'll talk about that for a second, but second. But I started filming because it was really, really funny. Like, and you know how I love to make fun of myself and other people.
Oh gosh.
Poor Johnny.
And that's okay. I love it.
I have fun with it, right? So like we have fun, and so I originally went to Treehouse not because I was interested in working out, and not because I thought that it would be good for my mental health, but I was working for Alia, and we had a veterans track, and whenever I spoke to a veteran, they were super crabby and kind of like gruff a little, and I felt like I needed to be around some of that demographic so that I could understand how to talk to them, speak their language.
Them further where they're at.
Right. Yeah. I want to understand them more. That was my reason. It was selfish. Like me, I need to learn how to speak to people that have
totally
served.
Cool. You open one door out of curiosity, and it opens 1,000 more.
Right. Yeah. That's what that's the only. I went there, and Brandon, who's also very crabby.
No.
Usually when you come and you say, hey, how can I refer? They're like, well, we take this insurance, that insurance, this is the criteria. He wouldn't tell me any of that. He's a program director. Like, it's his job to put people in that place. And all he kept saying is, just come check it out. Come work out with us. And I was like, but I don't want to.
I don't really want to lift weights.
Don't want to
do
that. Also, you guys are all like machine tanks. Brandon's American flag eye. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're all just these really and I was just like, I just can't. But I did it, right? And they all loved me. Like,
they also had a nickname for you too.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Lil Pony. You know why? Because they call each other stallions.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Like in Marines or whatever, they're like, "Hey, stallion," blah blah blah, and they'd be like, "Lil Pony, get your ass over here," And so I was Little Pony.
Well, thank you for telling all of us that. That makes it even better.
It's so much. Yeah, it's such a beautiful. They were so intimidating walking in, and then immediately, I got yelled at, which made it feel like I was one of them, right? And I got a nickname, and I started making the videos literally because I just looked so ridiculous, and I would put funny music to it of me trying to jump on the box, oopsie, or jump roping. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a whole. It's a whole thing. And so I started filming those, and then this time I had 14 and a half years, and my son was struggling, my sponsor had passed away. I was sad. I was feeling really unmotivated and just kind of why am I here? I was going through one of those things. And I noticed when you go to Treehouse, so you get in a circle and you check in, and I would check in at a 4, and then I would go through the workout, and I would do all these really hard, impossible things that I never knew that I could do.
Is that a 4 out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, emotionally, where you at a 4? I'm at a 4, and then when I was checking out, I would be 10. I'm a 10. freaking 10, like 9, 10, 11. I don't know. Like, I feel amazing. Like, my brain, like my body, all of it, everything started changing. And I've worked out before, and that didn't happen. And I've, gone to group there, and like something about kind of like when we were talking with your coworker earlier about the working out in a group outside.
The F3.
Yeah, it's that camaraderie. It's like something about people coming together for a common, and we have this whole goal, and we all
pick each other up.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
got guys
level
with
of
like no
accountability.
legs, like passing by me with sandbags, and then I'm like, well, I better friggin' hurry up because I definitely have
because you have legs that are working.
Yeah. So it's like really, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful experiences, and I'm so grateful to them because they allowed me to participate, and they still allow. I mean, now 2 years later, he was like, "Sure, just come," and I'm just still showing up for class. Like, hey,
yeah,
guys.
I wondered that. I'm like, is Mitzi paying for this? No. She's just Little Pony's just showing up, and they're like, well, yeah, we just can't get rid of her.
Yeah. Well, that's the beautiful thing about. So the other thing that I love about Treehouse is once you go. So if you send if you're a patient and you go to Treehouse, it's an IOP, so you stay there for 3 to 6 months. You don't have to stay on, but because it's 3 days a week. But
and I guess they have housing now,
they
which
do
is
if
cool.
people
But
need
that's
it.
an option.
It's
if
an
they need
option,
housing.
right? But when they leave, you can always Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday during the workout. You're always welcome to come back and participate. So you're there with your alumni and with your therapist and with your whole team. So for the rest of your life, you can just
keep showing up.
You just go. Yeah. So you do programming for 3 to 6 months, but for the rest, so there's people.
It's essentially like free therapy after all of that, and a free workout gym for somebody that participates.
Right.
And you have all this level of accountability.
All of it, yeah. All, and they all know you and they love you. And if you don't show up, they're like, "Hey, where'd you go?" That kind of a thing. So it's not super odd that I keep showing up, even though I wasn't a patient. But they have other people that do that too.
I think that proves how great of a program it is, and how supportive people that they all can be. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that you found that.
Me too.
And on a whim.
So that's what I was like, finding all these things. So it's like that cut out a lot of
blessing.
Wednesdays and Fridays was my home group. So and for a long time, I did not go to my home group. But it's like if I'm missing my home group because I'm going to Treehouse and I'm changing, the way that my body and my brain are working in connection with each other, and I'm healing parts of me that that's okay.
Yeah, you're
it's
learning
okay.
and acquiring these other tools.
Right.
Yeah, everybody out there, don't be afraid to change it up.
Yeah, change it up. Have fun. Yeah,
be playful with it. I like that saying.
Play with
I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, steal it.
I don't mean to shift gears here, but let's say there's someone on the fence about going into treatment or in recovery. What would you say to them? Because I always appreciate your thoughts. Yeah, you have an interesting mind to me.
It's really funny because my first thought was, if somebody's on the fence, like I don't know any, I've never, like, have you ever had the thought, like, I wonder if I'm a serial killer? Like, right? Like it's never, like that's never happened. Like, wonder if I'm a sociopath? Like those thoughts, because we're not, and so it's just not even our consciousness. So like if I'm wondering, like, wonder if I have a problem, like it's a problem.
Absolutely.
Like because people that don't have a problem are not wondering if they have a problem.
And I know the whole thing that I believe in is if you're not ready to get help, you shouldn't get help because you're not ready. You're going to maybe 25% do it. But if you 25% do it and like you're curious, like you open this one door and then you end up seeing the light, that's a good thing too.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's all sorts of different situations and scenarios that can happen here.
I like the not being ready. The hard part about people not being ready is that if they're doing fentanyl, I tell people, I'm like, sorry if you're not ready, like you have to go.
Yeah, because
you became ready
you
the
might not
second that
live
you
through
took
the
that
night.
fentanyl. Right.
You might
You're
not
not.
live
We,
through the
we don't
night.
get to hit bottom anymore. We don't get
Right.
to. We don't get to pass go. We're not collecting $200. We're going to treatment. You're going to treatment.
I'm glad
Which
you
one do you
brought
want to
that
go
up.
to?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's what other if we're alcohol and we're we need to hit a different bottom. Like we'll do that. But
You're not ready. Okay, let me talk to your parents so they can start planning your funeral.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had people. One time, the guy wouldn't. I said, "Okay, share your location. I promise you, I won't go and find you. But when your mom's looking for you, I want to be able to tell her where to find your body." That's dark, but
That's a real statement.
I mean,
though.
if
It's
I
very
pull
true.
out my phone, there's 7 people in there that share the location with me because of that exact reason, because they're not ready.
Wow.
And I promise, I'm not going to I won't tell people where you are if you're actively moving around. But if somebody calls, or I see on Facebook, has anybody seen so and so? And I haven't seen them in 3 days, and I know it's you. I can pull it out and I can say this is where they were last.
Yeah.
And the saddest thing is that people will share that with me, knowing that might be there.
That's super powerful. And people
Yeah.
have this trust in you.
Right.
Like, they're not going to call my parents on me. They're not going to call the cops.
Right.
Someone's going to come scoop me up.
Yeah.
Um,
But if my dot stops moving for 3 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I asked that question though, because
Yeah.
this is all great insight, especially when we're dealing with fentanyl here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think too, when people are on the fence about treatment, it's you know what? Every person on this planet needs treatment. It might not be.
You said it.
I'm
Yeah.
serious. Everybody would benefit. There's no greater investment than investing in yourself. And we go through life okay, we're going to school and we're going to college and we're aiming for this and we're aiming for that. And how often do we just go, you know what we're going to do for 30 days? I'm going to heal.
Yeah. And you're going to dig up things
Yeah.
that you didn't know were there.
Yeah. For 30 days, I'm
Yeah.
just going to love on me and I'm going to figure some stuff out. I think I go once a year, not for 30 days, but I find intensive all over the place where I can go for 3 or 4 days.
There's On-Site here in Tennessee
Right.
that does just right outside of Nashville.
For a
It does
week.
a great job on those little workshops.
Yeah. Do a week, tune up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We all need to tune up.
So when people are resistant to treatment, I'm just but literally, it's you get to go somewhere, and only thing you have to think about is you loving on yourself. And we don't in America, especially, we're just so driven to reach the next goal and do the next thing. And so I don't never care if it's what the drug or a lot of times even mental health. I'm just go. You can go. I'll go. Let's
Yeah.
go. This is a great opportunity. Love
Totally.
yourself. Yeah. There's nothing more important.
I
Go to
couldn't
treatment.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Go to
Thank
treatment.
you.
Yeah.
What gives you hope today? And it could be either lately or it could actually be literally today, because today for us recovering alcoholics, addicts, it's all we have.
Yeah. Hope. Doing what we did on Monday, I get a lot of I get a lot of hope from seeing my community members all come together to help, whether it's to help the veterans or to help substance use or to help whatever. There's a lot on the news. If I look at the news or even social media, I'm going to believe that people are bad,
Mm-hmm.
and that we're all too different. That's a great example too. That we're all very different, because I'm just this crazy, liberal white lady with tattoos and then I'm going into this. My best friend Brandon is I'm driving him to the hospital, and his truck is Patriot for life, and freaking, driving but it's my best friend. It would never think,
Yeah.
but when we
Yeah,
move in
yeah.
close and we start, so what gives me hope is getting off of the computer and standing next to people that I wouldn't normally stand next to. Oh, Johnny, I got so much crap on Facebook from Robert Kennedy.
The Robert F. Kennedy stuff
Yeah.
that you were posting.
Yes. I'm not political. So let me just start that off by saying this was not a political post. This was not a me supporting Republican or me supporting Democrat. There was nothing about that. It's that Robert Kennedy is a recovering man, and he's in recovery, and he goes to meetings every day. He's got over 30 years sober. And he wanted to tour Treehouse, where my best friend, who has a truck that says Patriot for Life on the back and an American flag eyeball.
And has been through a lot.
Yeah, and thinks that Secretary Kennedy hung the moon, right? Mm-hmm. So I have this opportunity to bring Secretary Kennedy to Treehouse.
Of course you'd bring him.
Of course I would do that. And also, if I want to be part of the conversation, right? And whether I agree or I disagree with the policies, if I want, I could either sit around on Facebook and bitch about it, or I could meet the person
and make your own judgment of this person when you meet him face to face and have a conversation with him.
Hey, let's talk about this.
I was proud of you for posting what you posted.
Thank you.
And being part of the conversation, and also having him there and being part of it all.
Yeah. I want to be part of the conversation. It doesn't mean that just because I'm there, it doesn't mean I agree. I'm oh, hey, let's do everything that this person said.
Because I know your political leanings.
Right.
So,
yeah.
For you to kind of bridge the gap, and for what policies he does have, and also who he works for right now.
Right.
You bring him to your sacred space.
Right.
And I know that he's been to Discovery Place too recently, and he's sent referrals there. He went to 202 Friendship House with Russell Brand. So I do think he has a lot of good in him, and he's a person in recovery. We have to love on him.
We have to love. There's just when I watched him speaking as a recovering man, not as the secretary, but when he spoke from his recovery experience, strength, and hope. I mean, I was just Daddy Secretary, tell me more. He's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
And you could tell he talks that he goes to meetings and he tells stories about his sponsor and he talks about,
He walks the walk.
He does, yeah. So, but the other part of it is that, like I said, moving in close to people, does it mean that Brandon and I, the day before the election and the day after, we're not, you okay? Yeah, you okay? If we can't talk about stuff like that because we'll, get mad. But
that's cool that you're not letting that get in the way of your friendship and your love for somebody.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that either. I'm not one of these people that are going to Facebook and be like, if you are for Donald J. Trump, then unfriend me. I just don't want to create that rift.
I 1,000% was that girl forever. No, not forever. I shouldn't say. I never posted that, but I definitely was I'm not gonna participate in any of the stuff that's going on this side. And also the fact that you participate, I'm now heavily judging you.
Right.
So that's creating barriers. It's creating
divisiveness.
I'm divided and I'm cut off from people that potentially could do things like when Brandon called and said, "What's going on with you?" And I said, "My son, I just found out he's doing fentanyl."
Yeah.
And then he said, "Will he go to California?" And I'm like, "He doesn't have insurance." And he said, "I didn't ask you that." Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
That's the person that I would have unfriended on Facebook. The person that flew my child to California and gave him a 90-day scholarship to Treehouse Recovery.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And if you would have shut that door,
right.
that friendship and that
right.
life friend wouldn't be there.
Right. So I'm really working. It's so that's what gives me hope is when we can get off the screen and get face to face and the serenity prayer. So that's what I'm saying the whole time because like I say, I don't agree with everything that's going on around me, but so it's change, what can I change? What can't I change? Okay, I can't do anything about that. I don't even know what that is. So we're not going to talk. I'm not going to worry about that. This I might be able to contribute to the conversation. I know something about addiction. I know something about mental health. I'll talk to you about this, and let's see if we can change it. I
love it. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Hope.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
again, I couldn't have said it better myself. So in closing, just a couple more questions. Okay. If recovery were a gift that you could pass on to someone, what would it be?
Like something tangible?
Tangible or non-tangible?
Because I think it is a gift.
I also, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. It is a gift.
It is,
right.
yeah.
We're kind of almost close to wrapping up. I finished my coffee, right?
Right.
Look at that timing.
See that? Does that give you hope, Johnny?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, it is a gift. You're right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because it is a gift. I think if it was, it would be that. Like, recovery is the gift. So I guess the bigger question of that I would have is like, it would be determined like how we would wrap it to make somebody excited in order to want to open it and tear into it. You know what I mean?
It's a gift, but it's a gift that I want to pass along.
Yeah.
And I don't want to open. I want to give it to somebody else.
Yes. Maybe it could be like when you have one of those boxes that's like giant, then you just keep putting littler and littler and littler boxes. So every time you like pass it, like they have to.
Yeah, like the Russian doll boxes.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good image.
Yeah.
Actually, for recovery.
Just because you're just
keep
always
passing it along.
You're gonna
And it's endless.
Endless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
One last bonus question, and it's kind of ridiculous, but I thought it was kind of fun, and I might want to ask this at the end of every interview.
Okay.
But if recovery was a movie, if your life of recovery was a movie, what would it be called? And also, sub-question, who would play you?
Someone super hot.
Yeah, totally. Well, obs.
I think it would be called Train Wrecks and Pink Clouds.
Love it.
Yeah. And
that's very suiting.
And, oh, you know who would play me? Because I was just at a wedding and somebody pulled up a picture of her. Lionel Richie's daughter.
Nicole Richie.
Okay, so Nicole Richie in her older years.
That's hot.
She like her older self is, there was a couple of images of her that they pulled up while I was at this wedding, and I was like, I do. We resemble each other, so we'll just say Nicole Richie will play me in Train Wrecks and Pink Clouds, coming soon to a theater near you.
I absolutely love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Great answer. Is there anything in closing that you want to leave with our listeners? Any gratitude, some hope, any encouragement, any final words?
I would say that I wanted to give up 1,000,000 times. And I'm really, really glad I didn't.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It takes as many times as it takes to.
Yeah. And I don't think that we're never going to get there. I'm never going to get it done, and I can't do it wrong as long as I'm clean. So I'm just going to keep going. And so we could just maybe be a little more gentle with ourselves. It would be good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love you.
I love you.
And thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
And also thank you for guiding me and mentoring me and working in treatment. And I love you to death.
I love
and
you.
I can't thank you enough for doing this and being guest one of the podcast.